Hi, this is Marie with Fox's Features, and this week I am interviewing Zach Dirr, the owner of Elite Performance here on the southeast side. So we're going to take a few minutes and just get to know Zach and a little bit about his business. So Zach, just start by telling us about your business.
So, Elite Performance is the name of the business. Been established here in the state of Indiana since October 9th of 2009. Basically, it's just a fitness facility. So, a bunch of different services that we offer. So, we have with our Sim Center room for go kart with our Elite Performance Karting Academy that we established 2 years ago. That's been up and running. With a lot of the kart racers that we have at Newcastle, as well as here locally with Whiteland Raceway Park. Have some really good partnerships with some of the different local racing teams that we have, as well as working with some of the younger drivers that have worked their way up through the ranks with Mazda MX-5s and Spec MX-5, as well as the IndyCar Indy Lights USF 2000, and then also with the ARCA series and Truck series.
Okay.
So I mean that's just one part of it. We also have personal training, one-on-one, small group, youth sports specific training for people. Have some really good services for mobility and flexibility for some of our older clientele, who might not be interested in coming in and doing a lot of heavy lifting. So we have a lot of good stretch classes and yoga classes that we have offered every week. And then we do a lot of hitting with our Elite Performance Hitting Academy that we established 2 years ago as well. So we have a lot. So from youth all the way up through high school and collegiate level, hitting lessons. We also do list our vision center that we have, working on reaction training. Uh, and then just anybody, gym goers that are looking to, better the way they look, better confidence, self-esteem, those kind of things as well. Um, Basically, the door is open as I just kind of mentioned here briefly. There's a lot of different services that we have for everybody.
Right. Truly catering to pretty much everyone
Absolutely.
from health and fitness to
The elite
everything.
performance is there depending on the individual for whatever performance that they're truly trying to create as that elite vision for themselves.
All right. What about do you have a family or
I do. Coming up here on 10-year anniversary here on this upcoming March. My wife and I have been married. I have two little princesses. My oldest daughter, Annabelle, she's growing up way too quick, 8. And then my younger daughter, she's just getting ready to turn 6. Adeline is her name.
awesome, do they enjoy coming and seeing
Uh,
what
they
dad does in
they
the
do. They come out here all the time. They'll even come out here like earlier today. Had some kids outside doing some different things, and they came in, grabbed the weights, and they jumped in and they were doing things with everybody. So it's neat. Hopefully, there might be a generational handoff here. When Dad decides to step to the side and retire here,
yeah,
maybe.
that would be awesome. How what made you start your own business and your own gym?
Business front was always intriguing to me, just because for me, I didn't want to be the person that was always working for somebody else. I wanted to have that flexibility that at some point in my life, God willing, I was going to be blessed to have a family. So my biggest thing was to have that flexibility in my life, in my daily schedule, where that if my family needed anything, I had that. So, as my girls get older now, they're starting to do more sports at school. They have other extracurricular activities that I have that time where I can block off on my schedule. Whereas if I was, had the typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 job, I might not have that flexibility to do that. Um, on the business side of it, for me, I've always been a gym goer. Playing sports all the way as a kid, baseball, basketball. Never played football. Soccer was always kind of one for me that was more conditioning for the other two. But going to college, playing baseball there, kind of had a little more insight. Plus, I went to school as well for that. So, for me, my big thing was I didn't want to go to school and not be that person from a professional standpoint, not being able to use it. And for me, always going to school, being able to teach and work with kids, that for me was always kind of that trade off. As a kid is younger, you're giving them a baseline, you're giving them that established point to say, hey, these are the important tools that you need as you grow. And, now more so in the world today, a lot of these kids, some see it, some have that support. So some, even now, it's some of these kids come in summer and it's a support because they're involved. They feel connected with people. And, like we mentioned earlier, it's not even about the service. It's just about an atmosphere where they feel comfortable and it's a safe haven for people. So why not?
So, well, that kind of brings me to the next question that might tie in with this. But what is something that your clients would say about Elite Performance?
Oh man. I would love to say that it's a great place and it's a place where they feel like they can come because no matter what they have going on in their life, they know that it's a place where they can feel confident and comfortable knowing that they're able to come through that door and do something to better themselves. Is it uh, didn't think I was going to do this.
All right. I get emotional too. It's fine.
My big thing was Elite Performance was a place where people could come. Um, it's like people have lost loved ones. People have, I mean, it's expected, it's not expected,
Right.
but people need a outlet. They need a place where they can go.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not just a gym. Everybody in different ways of life need that outlet. So Elite Performance, in my opinion, is that place. If it's a place where you don't want to be around a lot of people, I think that a lot of people would be understanding of that to say, hey, yeah, I mean, I need a place. I don't want anybody else in here. I truly just want it to be me. I need a place where I can go. I want to yell. I want to scream. Other people want to come in, and it's a social gathering. A lot of people want to come in and they want to find out how the family's doing or the grandkids are doing. Hey, where'd you travel? I mean, it's life, right? I mean, we want to feel connected. We want to find a place where everybody loves being around other people. And I would love to think that Elite Performance is that place for everybody.
I'm sure it is. That's a very positive spin on what you do here. It's not just about money and business and the connections and a welcoming atmosphere, I guess.
And I would like to think that that would be the thought.
What motivates you? What keeps you going every day to keep growing your business? And
I would say on the business side is that the day you start something, the day you have a vision, the day you start to put pen to paper and you draw things out. I mean, I started it in 2009. I did it 2 years before working at a big box gym, and my skill set, my craft was very green, coming right out of school, but I had a lot of support. There were a lot of people that kind of put that bug in my ear early to say, hey, you do a very good job. Have you ever thought about going out on your own? And I mean, I sat on it for 2 years. It was something where I wasn't really committed to the thought, but the more you start putting pen to paper, what's the cost? How are you overhead expenses? Anybody that started a business truly is a worry. It is a concern because you don't know. You don't know the way the economy is like it was in 2009. It is nowhere near that now, right? I mean, any of us that follow those things know that. But I would say the big motivational piece for me on that is failure. Knowing that you do something 100% in and you have that vision, in my opinion, nothing's going to stop that vision. And if I were to go back and post pictures of what it was in 2009 in my parents' garage, I mean, literally it was less than 300 square feet total. And now we're sitting in a place that's over 3,600 square feet. Now, if I was sitting there when I did my business plan in 2009, no. I had in my vision that it was going to be 4 years. In 2013, I would have had a place sitting here now, then.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't happen that way. Being the only person doing the operating, doing all the travel, doing all the meetings, meet and greets, talking to people, open gyms, etc. I mean, it's a lot. I always joke around with people. Some days they say, Zach, you look exhausted. You're tired. I don't deny it. But at the same token, you can't grow something if you're not willing to put that time in. Yeah. And that's, with that being said, then you kind of look at it from the personal side. It's the same thing. You can't make connections with your kids. You can't grow with your wife. You can't grow with your friends and your family outside of the business circle if you don't take that time either, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of one of those things that you go to church, you go small group Bible studies, kids doing VBS, all those kind of things that all of us vision for in the future. But do you really take that time when that time is there for you to actually make those memories and have that time? Because I'll be honest, I was not a vacationer. I never was. Even now, you ask Alicia, she would probably say, no, it's probably me. And I'll give her all the credit because that's not my thing. I never have been, because for me, if I'm on vacation, I wasn't doing anything to grow the business, right? And starting out, I was single. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I didn't have any of that.
Right.
So for me, it was a little bit easier. But now there's a lot more moving pieces there to that puzzle to make sure that, even the motivational piece on failure on the business side, to me, it's definitely still on the personal side too. Because you don't want, like my girls being out here, Alicia comes out here, my mom and dad stop in sometimes. So.
What is your greatest challenge, Ben?
The greatest challenge? Not settling, not getting comfortable, I would say. Because in different times, like I kind of look back, so on October 9th here, celebrating 14 years of the business doors being open, kind of servicing this area of Indy, is you look back at pictures and it's a blessing. And it's funny to me because I can remember exactly where the locations were. Every 2 or 3 years we've grown. And it's been truly probably to the point where, for somebody that's never run a business, the hardest part is they don't understand the time and the effort that it takes to continue to see that growth. Because a lot of people will become complacent. They'll get comfortable and they don't want to do anything to take them outside their comfort zone. And for me, I would say it's the opposite, because I'm always thinking of something new. What other service can Elite Performance what can they provide to people that they don't already know or they don't see? Because when I started out, it was just one-on-one. Like, it was just me and one other person working on their fitness goals. It was me sending emails or doing some kind of an email follow-up. Hey, how's your nutrition? It was a journal. Write in your journal. Keep track of those things. I was old school. I was not, hey, let's put a spreadsheet together. That was not my thing. To this day, it's still not my thing. But on the same token, it's one of those things where you try to create something special for each person that walks through the door. And that's not, hitting lessons. Is it somebody that's left-handed versus right-handed? Well, how do they hold a bat? Some of the fine motor skill development, working with some of the younger kids, they don't know how to run, so they're embarrassed. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to go outside for recess time. So mom and dad have them come in here and we work with it over summer. Some of the kids that come in for sports, they want to play a sport, but they never play. They don't know how, and they go out and they try and then they're too weak or they're too slow. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ventures that Elite Performance can create for people. It's not just a gym. It's like we mentioned earlier about all the different services that we have. But the biggest piece of it is, it's not a sales tactic. It's truly, like I've always talked to people, when you come through that door, when somebody opens that door and they come in for the very first time, that's the hardest part. Because then they truly know that their mind and their heart are open to making whatever change it is that they truly want to make. Right? Because anybody can sit here and say, oh yeah, I ate really good today. And you go out to their car and you see a bunch of McDonald's wrappers, or you see some kind of fast food junk just thrown in the back of the seat. Are they being honest with themselves? No. They're sabotaging themselves, right, and they're lying to themselves. But if you truly know that you're not going to do that anymore and you want to open that door and come in, I mean, what we do in here, an hour to 3 hours out of the week, because majority of the time I'll see people maybe once to 3 times a week. And knowing that you spent 3 hours out of an entire week just sweating to burn off what you put in your body is beyond minimal for what you're doing on the rest of the time on your own. And if people truly understand that and would weight that appropriately, I would love to think that the results for these people would be seen a lot quicker.
No, for sure. So that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people.
It is. It is. Well, and nobody wants to admit that they're wrong, right? I mean, that's over a lot of the years, that would probably be my biggest rebuttal with people. It's not pricing, it's not cost, it's the fact that they know what they do to themselves in their daily time has gotten them to whatever bad place it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, women don't want to go look at themselves in a mirror. They don't want to step on a scale, or they don't want to go to a certain store because they know that clothing all fits different sizes and shapes. Well, what shape is your shape? You know, you ask that question, 8 out of 10 times, I probably won't even get an answer because it's not the way that they see themselves. It's not where they want to be.
Right.
Okay, well, what's it going to take to get you there? You're going to open a book? You're going to read a book? You're going to hop online? You're going to do some research on your own?
Yeah.
I mean, we have all those tools literally at the right here, but instead they want to scroll on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or make goofy videos, and instead of coming in here and spending that time to better themselves.
Right. An hour or so.
Yep.
What are your goals over the next year for your business?
So we have our sim center room that we started working here over the last 5 months. More specifically, with our vision center, we have reaction training, so more for vision, neurocognitive training that we have for everyone. It's not just athletes; it's individuals. Work with a lot of kids that have dyslexia, so really trying to better the lefts and the rights, where we're really trying to implement that, trying to get that into some of the schools. But also on the sports side, one of our racing partners that we have, they're helping us create a go-kart chassis that we're going to be able to put in with sim wheel and sim pedals with some sim software off of some computers that we have already established, to better their racing format, you know, for their prep for in-season and off-season conditioning. So that's one of the big things that we're working on. Hopefully that'll be completed here by the end of the year. And then also we have our Elite Lab sticks that we use. It's a training tool that we use to really work on eye-hand coordination, but also we have it patented to where we're trying to get it into schools. So we work with a lot of kids with attention deficit order. So ADD, ADHD, because now we're giving them a color of the stick to really try to focus on. And hopefully, you know, if they're amped up, if they're really worked up about something, if you can build the success of catching just a color or catching the stick, you know, you're building that positivity back into their day. So that's one of the other items that we're truly working on. And we have probably 3 or 4 other things in the pipeline that we're trying to work through. But with that being said, you know, they're a little far out, so there's still things in the pipeline that are kind of crossing the T's, dotting the I's a little bit more before we can really put that out there.
Okay. Your greatest reward?
Being a dad.
Fair. What do you do for fun?
Oh man, doing for what I do for fun. Probably spending time with my family, just because throughout the week, I mean, I'm up, my alarm goes off 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm up eating breakfast. I'm out here by 4:30, 4:45 for clientele to start at 5. Go from 5 to 10, going over to school, doing the teaching thing over there as well. Back home, you know, 4 to 6:30 or 4 to 8, depending on the night out of the week. So truly, when I have that time with my family, with my wife, with my girls, you know, that's phones off. I put that to the side so I can truly make those memories and enjoy what I can with them while they're young.
Which brings me to my next question about young people. What advice do you have for the youth? It doesn't have to necessarily be a small child, but or even maybe a young business owner.
Yeah, I would say if you have a dream, and I mean personal, if it's a thought, go with it because it's your thought. You know, it's there in your mind. It's not something else that somebody's putting there for you. So go for it. You know, try. What's the worst that could happen? You fail, right? Well, 9 out of 10 times, we're gonna fail before you have any kind of positivity that comes back your way. So I think back when, for me starting this, I love the gym. That, like, mom and dad's basement. My brother and I were working out. You know, we were doing all that kind of stuff. And for me, if somebody would have said that I was going to be a business owner, there'd probably be a lot of people that'd be like, "There's no way, no way." The kid was so hell bent. The kid loves sports. It's all his thing. It's all he lived his life for. But now I'm on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the coach. I'm the mentor. I'm the role model, trying to influence. To answer your question, is it's not just the fact that you're a business owner. You, as an owner, you wear so many different hats, right? You create those bonds and those relationships with people. Your friends, they become part of family. It's a community. It's not just another person walking through the door, right? It's not about the money that somebody's spending. It's money that you're spending, but it's to better the investment, and that investment is the body of the person that's coming through the door, right? So it's the same thing in life. Are you somebody that's going to go to trade school instead of going to college? Why? What's your vision for making that decision? Is it, hey, college isn't for everybody, right? So what are you going to do? But again, circle back around to the question, advice. If there's passion there with whatever the thought is, see it through. But don't sell yourself short. I mean, if you have that vision and the thought is there, do whatever you can. Do your own research, do your own diligence, go out and talk to people. You know, when I think back the first time in 2009 when I started the business, I became part of the New Pal Chamber of Commerce when I was out there. And the first time I walked in that meeting, I was 20. Well, how old was I? 27. The first time I walked into that meeting, and there was 22 other people in that meeting. All were so much older than I was, and the looks that I got from those people would have been enough for me to just turn and walk out the door, because they were looking at me like, "What is this guy doing there?"
Yeah.
But instead, I took the business cards. I literally went around and I shook every single person's hand. I handed out a business card, and 3 of those people that were there were people that I bonded with over my 2 years that I was out there in New Pal. And they were the ones that truly helped me make better connections to what now has helped me build what we have now. So just having the connections and having those people and believing in yourself, because you're not doing it for other people. I mean, if you live your life because it's your life. You're not living your life to please other people, right? I'm sure there's probably other people out there that would completely disagree with that statement. But we're all put here on this earth for a reason. And sometimes some of those people have that wake up call when they're early on in their life. For me, it wasn't until after college. But after college, there was not another option because of all the flexibility and all that enjoyment and all the positives that have come my way that I've truly been blessed with, all the friendships that I've made, all the partnerships that we've made, great people, with Dan helping me on the website side, with the technology side. As I told you, I'm not the tech guy. That is not my thing. So having those partnerships with people that we can rely on, and it's not just business. I mean, it's life. To me, business is life, but my life is my business, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because for me, they commingle, and that's how I want it. It's again, somebody walks through that door, I'm getting to know who they are and why they just walked through my door. It doesn't matter if you're a 14-year-old kid playing soccer, or if you're a 4-year-old kid like some of my karting kids, they're 4 and 5 years old, or some of my older clientele. Hey, I just got a hip replacement, and I want to be able to get down on the ground, and I want to be able to play with my grandkids. and I don't want to have to rely on a scooter or a wheelchair or a cane,
Mm-hmm.
hey, that's great, because that's their why. So, advice: look yourself in the mirror, write them down, post them up there. I mean, you walk around here, you see all kinds of stuff on the mirrors, motivational things on boards, because there's not one set of eyes that's going to read that sentence the same way, and they're both going to have the same thought.
Our toughest question: when your time is up, when you're no longer here, how do you want to be remembered?
Hmm. Awkward silence. Got me thinking. Um, I truly would say just probably as a leader. Um, a role model, probably. I think would probably be my bigger one, just because we want to live our lives in a way where it's better than what it was when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I think I have a better understanding of that now than I ever did when I was younger. Um, I love listening to a lot of Joe Rogan and Mark Cuban, both very successful. Some people are like, oh, those guys are a little out there, but they have a lot of good validity to what they say, in my honest opinion, because those are the people that want to lead by their education and their experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we all do. As a father, as a coach, as a teacher, whatever profession is that anybody has. But for me, as a father and a husband, a coach, working with kids, have it be nutrition, it would be something that when you're out and about, it's all about success. What was I able to do in whatever age window of life it was that I had the opportunity to work with someone, to say I was able to make that better for whatever it was that that person was here for. Um, yeah, so that's a pretty good question.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me and let the community know about your business here on the southeast side of Indy. If you want, just go ahead and let people know how to get a hold of you, whether that's your website, Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever you want to tell
Yeah,
them.
I mean, we'll kind of break it down pretty easy. We'll just do direct number here is 765-499-1005 for the contact. Our email is eliteptindy.com, or that's our website. I'm sorry. Email is at gmail.com. So eliteptindy@gmail.com. Website again, eliteptindy.com.
Okay. Again, this is Marie with Fox's Features. If you would like to be featured on my website, newsletter, or in any of these interviews, just reach out at 317-225-2333 or marie.fox@kw.com.